Now your sports update. Sports update. Powered by Mercury Insurance.
Hey, it's Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Bears got to Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson 5 times, and Bears quarterback Mitchell Trubisky threw for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. Also threw a couple of picks, but the Bears won 24-17 to wrap up Week 2 of the NFL season. Chicago moves to 1-1 while Seattle falls to 0-2. The Patriots acquired wide receiver Josh Gordon from the Browns in exchange for a 5th-round pick. The Patriots will also get a 7th-round pick back from Cleveland if Gordon doesn't play 10 games in New England. The A's had last night off. They're now 4 back of the Astros, who fell to the Mariners 4-1 last night. The A's are back in action tonight at home against the Angels. We'll have that game for you right here on Sports 1140. Pre-game's at 6:45. First pitch is slated for 7:05. It's 8:04.
That's not where you usually drop.
It's 8:04. Tickets are going quickly for Folsom Live, the street party in historic Folsom. Live music and dancing in the streets. Details at folsomlive.com.
I'm not letting you go to work today.
Wait, what? Everybody, listen up.
Welcome to The Drive.
Morning. You're gonna talk.
Get on the phone at 339-1140.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Jump in on our text line at 441140.
Everyone is talking about it. You must know that.
The Drive starts now.
Matt Barrows of The Athletic will join us here in just a couple of minutes. Also, we're going to have a surprise guest in studio coming up at about 8:35.
Niners Wires, Kyle Madson.
The surprise guest will be, I don't know if it's our final announcement for Sports Fest this Saturday, but I think it is. Pretty big name. We'll let you know who it is and what he or she will be doing.
They? Are they?
Uh-huh.
The announcement that you were talking about earlier?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I know who.
You got it all now.
Yes.
Put it all together?
Okay, I'm with it.
We talked about that earlier. You can put it together if you're listening hard enough. We always say listen harder, and we'll tell you how to do that. You can go to khtk.com. Not only can you go to the app itself for the audio and all of our archives and all of our on-demand, but you can go to khtk.com on your desktop, tablet, phone, and check out the video stream. On your desktop, it's on the top right. On your tablet or phone, it'll be towards the middle, and you can see mine and Kyle's pretty faces, scratching ourselves and having nervous tics and doing what we do.
I'm going to give away some Jason Aldean tickets right now before I call Matt Barrows.
Right now?
Yeah, I'm going to. Start of the 8 o'clock hour. Call right now. Be the third caller.
Mm-hmm.
You've won you'll win tickets, 2 tickets to see Jason Aldean happening September 27th at the Toyota Amphitheater. Get your tickets and more info at khtk.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RosevilleAutomall.com. Third caller right now gets 2 Jason Aldean tickets.
Dial the phone real fast.
Good luck.
All right. There you go. Kyle, couple things for you. Really one thing, and then we'll get Matt Barrows on. Matt Barrows, of course, appearing via the Fire Wings Hotline. 21 different flavors to choose from. Firewings.com. Hey, what'd I tell you? Just wing it. The NBA has informed its teams of updated projected salary cap and tax levels. For 2019-2020, that's next season, not the one we're about to start. Your cap will be 109. Your tax level will be 132. Now watch this. For the following season, your cap level will be 118. Your tax level will be 143. What does that mean? That means the Warriors are going to be able to re-sign everybody to max deals and probably somebody else, and it'll be okay. It'll be within the rules. That's a lot of money. I'm glad to see him making it. Good for them. All right, Matt Barrows is ready. A couple things to clean up from today. Somebody tweeted at Stephen A. Smith yesterday, said, this afternoon I ran into Stephen A. Smith leaving the South Street Seaport First Take studio. That's a mouthful. And I pointed to my Cowboys gear. He gave me his usual hating Cowboys look. Whatever. Stephen A. responds, though. Yes, the hell I did. I'm not even, I can't even read this without trying to go into a Stephen A. Yes, the hell I did. I keep telling y'all the Dallas Cowboy fan base is the most disgusting, annoying, nauseating fan base in American history. I have no idea why y'all think I'm joking. I say what the hell I mean and mean what the hell I say. Sounds like Popeye. Say what the hell I mean and I mean what the hell I say. I am what I am. Here's the thing. While I agree that Cowboy fan is on the Mount Rushmore of annoying fan base, has Stephen A. ever, I don't know, has he ever met a Laker fan? As much as I can't stand the Cowboy fans, Laker fans are worse.
He works at ESPN. He's met some Laker fans.
I would think so. All right, more on that later. Joining us right now.
Wonder if he's met any University of Virginia fans.
From The Athletic, the University of Virginia Mountaineers. The one.
I think it's the Hokies, actually.
It's it. Wow. Oh, God. You want to get our guest to hang up before we even bring him on? Joining us from The Athletic, the one, the only, the pretty, lovely, and talented Matthew Barrows. Hello, Matt. Good morning.
You guys are 0 for 2 on that. It's neither the Hokies nor the Mountaineers. Mountaineers is West Virginia. Hokies is Virginia Tech. We're talking Cavaliers, Cavalier poets.
We just wanted to see, we were just glad you caught it, because if we just went right into the interview, that would have been a bad look for Matt Barrows, who is his alma mater. Although, by the way, Tom from the Pat and Tom Country Show next to us, Tom apparently thought it was alma mater.
It probably is. It might be. I mean,
I don't think so.
What do you think the Romans were saying back then? You think they were saying alma mater?
Yes, I don't know, but they were writing numbers down in a weird way that I still can't understand, with a lot of I's.
Yeah, there's a reason that civilization fell apart. Okay,
because they couldn't write numbers right. Matt, did the 49ers, to the best of your guess or perhaps knowledge, did the 49ers even kick the tires on Josh Gordon?
Yeah, I think they absolutely kicked the tires, and I think that they would have perhaps done something, but they weren't going to give up a lot. I mean, Kyle Shanahan had Josh Gordon as a player in 2014 when Shanahan was running the Browns offense. Gordon missed the first 10 games that season for a league mandated suspension, and then he was suspended for the final game because he didn't bother to show up for a walkthrough practice. So Shanahan, as much as anybody, knows the contradiction that Josh Gordon brings. He's a great talent, but he's so much trouble that even if you have him on your team, you spend the whole week fielding questions. Hey, is Josh Gordon going to play this week? Does Josh Gordon know the offense, et cetera, et cetera? So I think that they were interested in him, but only to an extent, and the Patriots obviously were more interested.
6 sacks. Is that an indictment of the offensive line? Is that more Lions coverage in their line? What do you pin that on?
Well, certainly not the 49ers offensive line. They actually played pretty well. I mean, all of those 6 sacks, everybody inside the stadium could feel that Jimmy Garoppolo was holding on to the ball too long. And the question is, why was he doing that? And the answer was provided by Shanahan yesterday when he said, all of them were instances where he was looking at a receiver, waiting for that receiver to break open, and the Lions just had blanketed that player with man-to-man coverage. I mean, it was grabby, and Shanahan even called it holding, but he said that's something that the receivers are going to have to deal with, and it's a young receiving group. And, for example, Dante Pettis, that was one of the critiques of him coming out of the draft. I mean, he's so willowy in his physique. Is he going to be able to break free of jam coverage, of very aggressive man-to-man coverage? And he and the others were having trouble with that. So Garoppolo's waiting for that guy to break open, and he just never does. And, so it's a combination of the receivers being able to shake free, and then Garoppolo having to reach a conclusion at some point in that play. Gee, this guy's not going to get open. I might as well just throw the ball away and not take the sack.
And Ahkello Witherspoon, the numbers on him were absolutely not good. Is there a reason to think that was fluky, or is this a real problem for the Niners?
Well, it's going to be something that he deals with all season. I mean, we saw that even going back to that one preseason game that Richard Sherman appeared in Indianapolis, where Andrew Luck didn't really look his way. I mean, he's always looking on to the other side of the field, the opposite of Richard Sherman's side, and that's to Keller Witherspoon. In his defense, Witherspoon twisted his ankle midway through the Vikings game. I'm not sure the Vikings ever noticed it, but the Lions obviously did, and then they picked on him accordingly, and he actually was pulled from the game, and that's what happened last year with Dante Johnson. You remember that game in Houston where DeAndre Hopkins was just devouring Johnson, and eventually they had to take Johnson out of the game. And that's exactly what happened with Witherspoon on Sunday.
Matt Barrows of The Athletic joining us. So when it comes to Richard Sherman, in your opinion, you've watched every second of those games and then some. How much of them avoiding Sherman is that he's doing fantastic on coverage, and how much of it is reputation at this point?
Well, I mean, the answer is really who cares? I mean, it's both, I think. I mean, I feel like this is what Richard Sherman said yesterday. If people were watching tape or the film of previous games and they saw Richard Sherman being beaten deep, it would take an opponent 2 seconds to test him out on that, and that's not happening. So, frankly, I'm not watching Richard Sherman every play because it's boring. Nothing happens on his side of the field. So, I think the answer is that he is playing like the Richard Sherman of old, and frankly, there's a young, untested cornerback on the other side. So let's go and test that guy out instead of the multi-Pro Bowl guy on the other side.
I saw reports from the locker room after the game that Richard Sherman has stayed back and talked with each of the members of the secondary individually. Do you have any insight on what he told those guys?
No, I mean, I don't think it would be cool if I sort of butted in and asked him what's going on. But, I mean, I'm sure, he's taken a very, fatherly approach to this defense. I mean, he wants this defense to rise to that of the Seattle defense that he was part of. And they're not there yet. I mean, they're not even close. And part of that is attitude. There's this just palpable feeling of energy and aggression with those Seattle defenses, and this current one doesn't really have any personality at this point. And Richard Sherman says that's going to take time. Even the Seattle defense didn't have that personality right away, but I'm sure he's doing all that he can to sort of bring that out and kind of bring out the personality and the aggression in this group, because frankly it hasn't been even close to that in these first two games.
Do you think, whether it is reputation or whatever it may be, looking ahead to next week, would you bet Sherman's going to get absolutely tested?
Well, yeah, absolutely, because the Chiefs have so many weapons. I mean, you got Sammy Watkins on one side, you got Tyreek Hill on the other, you've got the tight end Kelsey. It goes on and on with this team. So I would imagine that Patrick Mahomes spreads the ball around. And boy, I mean, if you've got Tyreek Hill, arguably the fastest guy in the NFL, I think Marquise Goodwin would take exception to that. But why not test him out deep against Richard Sherman? Because that's the one perceived weakness that he has. Can he still go deep? Given his age and given his Achilles history. So I think if that matchup occurs, maybe at that point I'll train my binoculars to Richard Sherman's side of the field, because there might at least be a test down the field.
I want to jump over to the other side of the ball real quick. Matt Breida, after his 66-yard touchdown run, I think had one carry the rest of the game. I think I noted. Is that something that was by design, or what happened with that?
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan was asked about that after the game, and the answer was that, with the lead and with the clock the way it was, the 49ers just wanted to salt out the victory, and they felt like a slow and steady guy like Alfred Morris would be better at doing that. And you're right. I mean, why not put Breida in if he gets 2 first downs, which he did very easily earlier in the game?
Right.
the game's over. I think it's just a preference for a bigger back at that point. But that raises the bigger question of, okay, well, if Matt Breida is doing the things that they envisioned Jerick McKinnon doing this year, why not give him the lion's share of the carries? I mean, Alfred Morris has had more snaps and more carries than Breida in these first two games, and I think the answer is that they're not confident that Breida can handle the load for a full season. This is a guy who's got a long history of shoulder injuries, who had one in the preseason even, and they want to be careful with him. And so I think that their answer would be that they're very happy with the arrangement right now, where Alfred Morris gets slightly more, and then Breida is still able to, get you 100 and what was the total, 158 yards in a game. So I don't think they're going to look that gift horse in the mouth and do too many changes to it, because it seemed to work pretty well against the Lions.
Matt Barrows with us from The Athletic. I'm going to jump back over to the other side of the ball that Kyle jumped back over from earlier and talk about Reuben Foster. That's the big news, or one of the biggest pieces of news, I think the biggest this weekend. Reuben Foster coming back. Would you mind explaining to us a little bit? Obviously, we know Reuben Foster is fantastic, but what you think is going to happen personnel-wise and how that makes this team better specifically?
Well, I mean, part of it goes back to what we were just talking about, attitude and aggression. I mean, you're bringing back the one guy that can really, with a couple of big plays, a couple of big hits, whip that unit into shape and give it some personality that it's lacking right now. So that alone is a big deal. But from a positional standpoint, my expectation is that he gets the weak side spot, which is where he was playing in the preseason, and that Fred Warner continues to play that Mike linebacker spot. I mean, he's done very well there. He's all over the field, it'll be difficult, I think, for Robert Saleh to do that, because he does like Malcolm Smith. The reason why the 49ers pursued Malcolm Smith in free agency last year is because Robert Saleh is familiar with him from their days in Seattle, and Malcolm Smith is fast and does everything that you want. He just hasn't been healthy to this point. So that's going to be the number one, criterion for that position in this game. Is Malcolm Smith even healthy enough to play? If he's still sort of coming back and going through limited practices, I think it's a no-brainer that Fred Warner will start. If Malcolm Smith is 100% healthy, I think this decision becomes a little bit more difficult for Robert Saleh to make.
Do you foresee a scenario where they try and have all three of those guys on the field at the same time?
Yeah, I think that was an idea before the season began, when they did trade Eli Harold, their starting outside linebacker at the time. But then, Malcolm Smith never got healthy, and it really gave Fred Warner a chance to get used to playing Mike, and gave them 2 games worth of Fred Warner at Mike, and he had 22 tackles in those games. That's a lot. But I do still see a scenario where it's possible that Smith and Foster are the inside linebackers, and they move Warner to outside linebacker, where frankly they haven't gotten much punch from Mark Nazacha thus far. He was one of those guys that had multiple missed tackles in yesterday's game, or in Sunday's game. But if you did that, it's going to take time. I mean, Warner has only studied that middle linebacker, that Mike linebacker spot so far. So I think it's a little bit much to ask him to be able to step in right away at the strong side linebacker spot, which he hasn't done to this point.
Interesting start to the year, and the last thing I'll ask you, I want to go back to Matt Breida real quick, and you covered some of this. Passing yards leader, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think a lot of people out there, unless you've heard it on radio or seen it on TV, wouldn't think Matt Breida is your rushing yards leader after 2 games. And when you look at his stat line, obviously he had the big run yesterday, but this kid's got 22 carries for $184 and a touchdown. That 22 carries is a game for a lot of starting running backs. What needs to happen? Can he be a bell cow? Can he be the go-to guy? Can he be the guy that's getting 20, 25, 30 carries a game at some point?
Yeah, I mean, he's the perfect fit for this offense. I mean, he does everything on the ground that they were hoping Jerick McKinnon could do. He's not the receiver that McKinnon is. And like I said, there's a bit of a risk. I mean, there's an injury risk for anyone.
Sure.
But I think it's a little bit higher for Breida given his shoulder history. I mean, he's got shoulder surgeries going back to high school. So he's dealt with those in high school at Georgia Southern, and he had a minor injury in the preseason, a separated shoulder. But I think the worry is that if we overuse him in the first quarter of the season, we're not going to have him for the last 3 quarters of the season.
Matt Barrows of The Athletic. Go there, theathletic.com. I'm a subscriber. They're picking people up that are super talented left and right like Matt. It is a phenomenal way to get your coverage and get it in a clean way as well. You don't have ads in your face, none of that garbage. Matt, we always appreciate you coming on each and every week, and we will talk to you next Tuesday.
All right, go Mountaineers.
Yeah, talk to you soon. That's Matt Barrows. He meant go Cavaliers. Actually, he did that on purpose. The University of Virginia grad. We'll take a break. When we get back, we're going to have a surprise guest in studio. We may have to move Nostradamus either to tomorrow or to our What's on Tap segment. We'll have to see what we're working on.
I haven't cut out the sound.
Okay, so we'll move it to tomorrow then. We'll get there, though. Do you have something to say?
I'm just really excited to have a Warriors player in studio.
A Warriors player in studio? Yeah, no. A Warrior maybe doesn't play basketball, though. We'll be right back right here on Sports 1140. Thank you, KHTK.
Sports 1140 KHTK, your home of the Kings.
Here's Giles going for 3. Barely ripples the drive. Sacramento knocking down multiple three-point shots. That's their 5th in 10 attempts.
The future is now.
Shovel to no-look pass. It's grabbed and scored that time by Harry Giles. That's the quick push and transition up the floor that has Kings fans smiling.
Sports 1140 KHTK, your home of the Kings.
Carmichael Dave here talking to you about my good friends over at Fire Wings. By now you've heard the gospel. You've heard the word. Fire Wings, the best wings in all the land. And that's not just me saying it, big giant sports radio donkey. That's you in Sacramento saying it for 3, not 1, not 2, 3 straight years. Wing of the year, Fire Wings. Just wing it. I thought you had.
Homeowners, you've heard about Quality First Home Improvement being voted the best contractor in the area. Now it's time to hear from one of their customers about why you should pick up the phone and call them today.
I called Quality First to have them remodel my old kitchen to increase the value of my home. Not only did they do a beautiful job on my kitchen, but what I found was they helped me create great memories with my family and friends. Now we hang out in my gorgeous kitchen so much more. Thank you, Quality First.
This is one of the many reasons you should call Quality First Home Improvement and make them your contractor for life. This month, Quality First is having their summer savings sale. Call them today to find out about their financing options and how you can get your home remodeled with no money down and no interest for the first 12 months. Remodeling has never been easier or more affordable. For information on their summer savings sale, call 855-8012345. That's 855-8012345. Quality First Home Improvement, your contractor for life. License number 875772.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. First, the NFL created a needless firestorm with its catch rule. Then this offseason, the league snuck in a controversial new helmet rule, which was recently tweaked into something manageable. Now they've gone nuts with roughing the passer, as epitomized by Sunday's outrageous call on Green Bay's Clay Matthews. According to Fox's Mike Pereira, you can't have Matthews hit as a foul. There's got to be a line drawn closer to a more violent hit. He added that the league is setting a dangerous precedent by, quote, creating penalties for contact and tackles that don't put the quarterback at risk of injury. Dean Blandino, another former NFL officiating chief, agreed, adding, what do you want the defender to do in that situation? Tone deaf as usual, the NFL is distributing the Matthews play as a teaching video on illegal quarterback hits. Take it from this former quarterback. That was not an illegal hit. I'm Boomer Esiason.
At Westin Hotels and Resorts, we offer running gear to our guests. Why? It's not to help you race to catch your flight. It's so that you can pack less and work out more while on the road, because we know what a runaround travel can be. Westin Workout Gear Lending. Westin, let's rise.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
At Westin Hotels and Resorts, we offer a menu full of healthy and delicious superfoods. Why? It's not because they give you actual superpowers. It's so you can rise above travel's disruptions and stay in control of your well-being. Eat well with the Superfoods RX menu. Westin, let's rise.
Sports 1140 KHTK's coverage of high school football is presented by Wingstop. Listen every Friday night to the Wingstop High School Football Wrap-Up Show and get all the coverage on KHTK.com. Win tickets to America's Greatest Game Show hosted by Eric Estrada only at Cache Creek. Visit CacheCreek.com for details.
The CBS Sports Minute brought to you by Lexus of Roseville.
Roseville Lexus. Here, Roseville, think Lexus. Now think Master Technicians, because Lexus of Roseville has exactly 10 of them on staff in their service department, located in the Roseville Auto Mall.
Lexus Roseville. Sports 1140 will be at King Kong Brewing Company, 1709 Del Paso Boulevard, this Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Win prizes and enjoy great beers at King Kong Brewing, proud sponsor of Sports Fest.
Now your sports update. Sports update. Powered by Mercury Insurance.
Hey, it's Kyle Madson with your top stories on Sports 1140. The Bears beat the Seahawks 24-17 last night to move to 1-1 on the season. The Seahawks fall to 0-2. The Patriots traded for Browns wide receiver Josh Gordon. They sent over a 5th-round pick to Cleveland. And the A's had last night off, but they're back in action tonight. You can listen right here on Sports 1140 as they take on the Angels. Pregame 6:45, first pitch at 7:05. It's 8:30. Tickets are going quickly for Folsom Live, the street party in historic Folsom. Live music and dancing in the streets. Details at folsomlive.com.
Here we go. The drive continues now.
Welcome back to The Drive. 1-800-920-1140, 44-1140 on the Jiffy Lube text line. Kyle Madson with a word.
Hey, fifth caller right now wins tickets to Jason Aldean happening September 27th at the Toyota Amphitheater. Get your tickets and more info at KHTK.com. All KHTK giveaways are powered by RosevilleAutomall.com. So fifth caller right now.
Fifth caller.
Get some Jason Aldean tickets.
And be patient, everybody, on the caller. Keep on the line because Kyle's spinning 70,000 plates. He's about to go grab hopefully not grab because that might turn out badly, but go get our surprise guest who will be our final announcement. If not, certainly one of the final announcements for Sports Fest coming up this Saturday. You know, KHTK doesn't do a lot of events. We don't do a lot of events, and when we do them, we blow them out. So if you haven't heard of or blocked out some time for the Sports Fest this weekend, I highly recommend you do so because there's going to be an absolute just bevy collection of people that are hanging out there. What's up, my man? Mike Bibby, Greg Vaughn, Derek Martin, Kenny Thomas, Bonzi Wells. And our next guest, there's one camera, just so you know, and then there's the other camera, just so you know. And if you guys aren't watching, you can go to KHTK.com. On the desktop, it's at the top right on your tablet or phone, towards the middle or below, and you'll be able to see the sweet, lovely face of our next guest. Hey, buddy.
What up, Dave?
Oh, hold on. I got to get Kyle back up here to.
I got brought in the side door.
You got brought in the side. You did.
Yeah, I'm like trying to find where I'm going. Someone's like, "Where are you trying to go?"
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you were just randomly kind of poking around the office.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, when Kyle comes back up here, he'll actually turn your mic on. So while we wait on that, yeah, I can't. It's on, but it's not potted up in there, so people are hearing you through.
Man, you got high tech on me, Dave.
Bro, we got one guy other than me who is probably right now downstairs looking all over the place for you because so somebody escorted you up here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's downstairs looking for you. and you're up here playing with my rubber chicken. Wow, that sounds bad. And so we have. There we go. Is his mic on now? Sorry. So
there we go.
I was just explaining how poor Kyle was downstairs, probably just emphatically looking for.
Just flying around the office.
And somebody let Urijah in the side door. I was like, can I help you? Sorry. By the way, Urijah Faber, everybody, how about a proper introduction? He is going to be out at Sports Fest this Saturday. All you need is your KH2K app, and that gets you in for free. Like I said, we've got a ton of local sports awesome people out there. And Urijah, you're going to be out there. How are you?
Good, buddy. Just going to go grind here right when I get off this. Going to go do a little practice and have some fun.
Dude, that's crazy. Me too. But I'm heading over to the gym and going to lift weights.
Nice.
And run.
You look good.
No, I don't. I've still got that belly. What'd you say? Cushy poker players build once, I think is what you called it.
Yeah, if I was going to describe you in a novel.
Yeah.
It's tall.
I want to, before we get
poker player's body.
Before we get into all the fun and excitement of this Saturday, because I don't know how to shift from one to the other, so I want to get something serious out of the way. And it's interesting because this broke, I think, either late last night or early this morning, and you're kind of tied to this story in a weird historical way. Kid Yamamoto was once upon
I was just posting that, man.
Was that? Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy.
So Kid Yamamoto, once upon a time, was like this legendary, almost mythical figure that fought overseas. And you would see like clips of him. I don't want to say almost like a Hickson Gracie type, but I'm talking about like the legend status. And for a good minute, the super fight that pretty much everybody in the world wanted to see was Kid Yamamoto and Urijah Faber. Now, before we talk about Kid, I'll ask you, did that ever actually get – how close did that get?
It didn't get very close, but, you know, when I first started in the sport, I was, like, looking at him. I mean, I looked up to that guy.
Yep.
And, I mean, he was doing all sorts of crazy flying knees, knocking dudes out in, like, 10 seconds. And,
yeah,
you know, was a cool cat. He actually went to school in Arizona. Like for high school,
sure.
So he you know he was an athlete in Arizona, but he was Japanese descent, and
right.
Like, just had a cool element about him, and he eventually came over to the UFC like when he was like 30, maybe 37 or something like that, and he lost to the Demetrius Johnson, who ended up being a longtime champion, but. That was the closest it got, man. He came to one of my fight after parties when I fought Jens Pulver the second time in San Diego, and I got to hang out with him and,
that's cool.
And drink some beers and I mean, what a cool dude and what a dangerous dude. I was shocked, man.
Yeah.
I had no clue. No one said anything about him battling cancer or, you know, anything. And then I see a post yesterday, so it's kind of wild, man. It's sad, really sad.
Am I remembering wrong? Was it? I might be mixing stuff up. Was Joe at some point lined up to fight him too?
Yes, that was
Joe
like,
Benavidez.
Yeah, that was Joseph Benavidez' like big break.
Over in Pride, right?
Yeah, he's supposed to go over to.
That's right.
We actually went over to Japan, but Kid Yamamoto got in trouble I can't remember. He like shot a Yakuza with a BB gun or something like that.
Right.
What is that legendary crap?
Something crazy. And then that never materialized. If I remember, Joseph actually won that fight over there, didn't he? End up?
Yeah,
that
was like his breakout fight. He had a great fight. Finished the guy.
And that was towards the end of the I forget, the screaming lady that used to do the intros over there that were so awesome.
Yeah.
And I think he got like your voicemail is Joe Martinez from the WEC. He was the Bruce Buffer of the WEC introducing you, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I saw Joe. I believe it was Joe that was doing the ring announcing for the Golovkin Canelo fight over the weekend. So, which is always good to see him doing work because he's a good guy.
Yeah. Well, he's been doing some UFC stuff too.
Yeah.
They've got so many events now that.
Right.
And if you listen to my voice message, he's from like 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah, that's forever. You have him on there.
We should play that actually.
All right, check it out. We'll do that right now. But here's the thing: don't answer your phone. Okay. We're gonna play Urijah's.
This is Joe.
This is Joe. Let's see if I can actually dial this
ago.
correctly. See how they're different, so nobody can tell what your number is. I've never successfully dialed the first time. Did it work? There you go. So you ignore it. There you go. All right, now listen.
He is the original gangster, the fighting pride of Sacramento, California, the California Kid, Urijah Faber.
It didn't get much better than that. I mean, no offense to Bruce, but that was pretty awesome.
That was pretty good. Yeah, we were at a bar in Texas, I think, or a hotel lobby in Texas for Danny Castillo's fight, and Joe made that for me at like 3 a.m.
Right, and I'm wondering if there were people that were walking by going, "What the hell?"
No, there's no one.
Nobody there.
Anybody that was there knew what was going on. It was like at the end of the night. And I'm like, dude, we do this? He's like, oh yeah, absolutely.
And I want to say after that, didn't Joseph get the screaming lady to do? Did she do his voicemail, or she did a video for him? Maybe.
I think she did a video.
It was like the first time I'd ever seen her on video too. You know, like red hair is not what I expected.
Yeah.
We got a break, but I wanted to talk to you about Kid Yamamoto, and then when we get back, so we're doing Sports Fest. Uriah is going to be out there, and here's the deal: we're going to have a schedule all laid out for you. We'll have Kings people out there. We're going to have Greg Vaughn, Derek Lee, a bunch of our local baseball cats, and then Uriah as well. So a couple things he'll be doing. We've got the meet and greet booth where you get a chance to say hello, get an autograph, take a picture, all that. Then you're going to have he's going to be up on stage with me, and we will sit down and kind of reminisce about God knows what, about the time he tried to date my little sister or something. We'll get that out there, and then we'll talk about this more when we get back. But Uriah's gym's going to be out there, or at least representatives from the gym. You guys are going to have some Madson stuff, and you're going to be out there giving some pointers and doing some things. And this is something that people normally, I'm no joke here, will fly around the country chasing you. You put on, now it's not going to be the crazy, style, 2-hour, 3-hour event that you do, but people go all around the country going to your seminars just to kind of roll around and listen and all that, when people are going to have an opportunity to actually hear it for themselves.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a good time. I mean, I love Sacramento. It'll be cool to be part of this local event. And celebrate sports, especially in our community, and meet some folks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting people and having fun.
We'll talk about that when we get back right here on The Drive. Sports 1140 KHTK.
Sports 1140 KHTK has made your mornings even better. Check out The Drive every morning on KHTK.com to not only hear the show, but to see the show as well. The Drive is now video streaming every morning from 6 to 9 on KHTK.com. All presented by the Sacramento Republic FC and by Jiffy Lube.
Men, are you looking for an affordable option to treat erectile dysfunction that won't break the bank? Melrose Pharmacy has the answer. It's called Sildenafil, the same active ingredient in Viagra. Melrose Pharmacy is offering a huge cost savings on this generic 20-milligram tablet. Get 50 tablets for just $100. That's $2 a pill. A prescription from your doctor is required, and we offer free discreet mailing. Call Melrose Pharmacy, 1-844-826-7829, or visit melrosepharmacy.com and cash in on the savings today.
Big things are happening at Stockton Honda with the introduction of the all-new redesigned 2019 Honda Insight Hybrid. This premium compact sedan provides appealing style and fuel efficiency that rivals other leading hybrid models. You gotta check out this premium compact sedan, the 2019 Honda Insight Hybrid. You won't be disappointed. Come in today and meet our friendly staff, or go to StocktonHonda.com. Stockton Honda, anytime, anywhere.
All right, so winter is slowly creeping up on us. If you need some work on your roof, Garner Roofing is the place to go, especially during their end of summer sale. They've got right now a $69 inspection. That's a pretty crazy deal. They also offer veteran and senior discounts. They got financing options available with no payments and no interest until 2020, or even as little as $89 per month with 0 down. They've also got terms up to 30 years, and some financing isn't even credit-based and is tax-deductible. Call them right now, 833-R5Os and an F, or get at them at GarnerRoofing.com.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. So here's a scenario. You're shopping and minding your own business. Your feet encounter a slick surface, and the next thing you know, you're injured and staring at the ceiling. In slip and fall cases, lots of evidence typically exists, like video, witnesses, sweep sheets, and the like, which needs to be obtained to maximize the understanding of your case. So if you've fallen and you're injured and you believe more than gravity is to blame, call Ashton & Price. There's never a fee unless you win, so call Ashton & Price for a free consultation.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
We had just gotten home from vacation, and Richie had to go downstairs to grab something out of the dryer, and he had set foot in about 3 to 4 inches of water.
Well, what happened was the pressure relief valve for the hot water heater had failed, and it just leaked water while we were gone.
I had no idea the amount of damage that water could do.
With her being pregnant, the in-laws coming, a little bit of water, it rocked our world. I called USAA, and they greeted me as they always do. Sergeant Baker, how are you? They were on it. They took care of everything, A to Z. It was unbelievable. Having insurance is something everyone needs, but having USAA, that's a privilege. We're the Bakers, and we're USAA members for life.
See how much you could save with USAA by bundling your auto and home insurance. Get a quote today.
Ability to receive a quote depends on membership eligibility. Product membership eligibility and bundling savings restrictions apply and are subject to change. Members paid for their participation. United Services Automobile Association and its affiliate, San Antonio, Texas.
Summer may be behind us, but the deals on Toyotas are hotter than ever. Get to your Toyota dealer now for $2,000 cash back on RAV4. Or choose Highlander and get $1,500 cash back. Plus, both come with Toyota Safety Sense and Toyota Care 2 years no-cost maintenance standard. So you'll drive worry-free. Wouldn't it be nice to take on the day in a new Toyota? Cashback is available through TMNA and must be applied to transaction. Offers end 10/1/18. Toyota. Let's go places.
Hey, Jason Ross here, and we all have financial questions. Like, what's the best way to use my tax refund? Do we have enough funds to renovate our kitchen? And are we putting enough money into our 401k? Whether you have questions about saving, spending, or anything in between, Bank of America's experienced financial specialists are here for you. Proudly serving the greater Sacramento area, so schedule that appointment at bankofamerica.com/conversation and start the conversation.
Paul Blanco Kia knows how to get people with challenged credit approved. And when banks compete, you can use Kia's giant factory rebates for your down payment. Paul says, use the down payment you saved and spend it on yourself. Let banks compete to lower your rate at paulblancokia.com.
It's the end of the show, but it's the start of your workday. Pour a cold one. It's What's on Tap. Here's What's on Tap.
All right, what's on tap real quick? Urijah Faber in studio with us. Let's go ahead and get to your games of the day. The A's back in action tonight. They are done with the they're done with the Rays, thank goodness. Angels Athletics, 7:05. First pitch tonight. The Giants and Padres. Giants actually won a road game yesterday. Excuse me. Derek Holland on the mound against Joey Lucchesi. Kyle, couple things from you. You informed me during the break Antonio Brown was not at the facility yesterday.
Yeah, according to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, I believe is the paper, he did not show up for work on Monday.
You know, Pittsburgh's got issues.
They are a tire fire.
And you are going to be out and about today.
Yeah, I sure am.
Wow, where are you going?
I'm going to be with the 1140 Street Team at a Burger Lounge from 11 to 1. Going to hang out there, enjoy some delicious food. I was going to limit myself to a burger, but I think I'm going to try just like one of everything.
You just
like
try the whole...
I'm just going to go to town and just try the whole smorgasbord.
They're going to say, what do you want? You're going to say, yep.
I'm going to go, yeah.
100%.
Whatever, just bring everything to me.
Bring it all in.
So come out, see us, giving away a bunch of prizes. Going to have 5 $100 dinner and a movie prize packs. You can get dinner at Burger Lounge, head over to a movie at Cinemark Century Doco.
KHTK listeners and hosts eligible?
I don't think so.
Listeners are, I'm not.
You can come hang out with me, though.
Okay, all right. You're at Faber in studio with us.
What's up, Dave?
What's up? You got to press. There you go. We did it for you.
That's on me. See, I'm not doing my job.
So you have an event coming up with one of your idols.
Yes.
Kazushi Sakuraba.
Crazy.
This is down in Vegas.
Yeah.
And you were telling me when we were off the air, you're in training mode now.
Yep.
Getting ready to get down to, but it's an interesting thing. I hope this is public as far as how the weigh-in works and all that. Okay,
no,
so
it's super
how does that
interesting,
work?
Actually, so for those that don't know, not everybody on here knows about the MMA world, but this is actually a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match, and it's based in Japan, but they're coming to Las Vegas. It's called Quintet. So it's a 5-man team, and we have to cumulatively weigh under 943 pounds.
That's crazy.
Which is awesome. So you got you got to have a couple little guys, you got to have a couple big guys, and then it's kind of random who goes out first to face who, and it's submission only. So chokes, arm bars, knee bars, Achilles attacks, all this stuff is the only way to win. So there's no points.
Sure.
It's just attack mode. So when somebody gets a submission, they get to stay in. One guy could go through another team's like whole roster.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So
it's like King of the Hill?
Yes, it's King of the Hill.
That's awesome.
And so I'm fighting against Sakuraba. Kazuki Sakuraba is like a legend. He and I were inducted into the Hall of Fame together the same day, and it was actually crazy for me to be inducted in the Hall of Fame with him.
Yeah.
A guy that I looked up to. I used to have one of his VHS cassettes. I'd watch like 2 hours of it straight. He was known as the Gracie Killer because he submitted a bunch of the Gracies, and so he's about 185 pounds or so. And he and I are going to be the first match. It's my team versus his team.
Okay.
And so he's basically put together his team, and Josh Barnett is a 255-pound heavyweight, former UFC champion, former superstar over in Japan. And we've got Takoro, who's another guy that I used to watch, who fought over in Heroes for a lot of years, and he's put together a pretty good team. And I've got Dustin Akbari,
the Dinner Viking.
Yes. And Muncheer out of New York, who's trained with us for a while now, off and on, and two big heavyweights. One guy from Reno named Kelly Knudsen, and Antoine Joud, who's an Olympic wrestler from heavyweight from Brazil. And we're gonna compete. It's gonna be wild. So me and Sakuraba are kicking it off.
That's all. And how much do you think about he'll weigh more than you when you get in there?
I don't really worry about that. I mean,
no?
It's going to all come down to technique.
Okay.
I mean, of course, being bigger and stronger than someone is an advantage.
Yeah.
And he's actually really, really good. He's got crazy Kimura chains, which are like, going against the elbow, and he's got some crazy knee bars, and I think he was a high-level wrestler in college also, but he's 49 years old.
Sure.
I mean, that's not going to matter either too much, but it's going to be interesting. It's like, this really is like human chess. So I'm pumped for it. It's going to be on Fight Pass, so it'll be televised for folks that want to tune in. And it's the same lady that you're talking about.
Really?
She's doing the announcing.
That's awesome.
Bride. Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
What if you're?
Sounds like she's been smoking cigarettes over the years. She's
you can't
a little
do
bit
that.
raspy.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah,
That's
you know
bad
that,
for
Dave.
you. That's bad for you.
Yeah.
What if let's say you submit Sakuraba, which just sounds insane saying it, but so like what if
that's my goal.
Right. Well, of course.
Yeah.
No, it's just, doesn't that sound crazy that you're actually going to be in there with freaking Sakuraba?
Yeah, it's like if you look down, what's the actor? It's like 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
The 6 degrees of separation. Yeah.
That's like he would be the cornerstone of that for the UFC. Like the guys that he's fought against, who fought this person, who's fought these people. It's like, he's a legend in the sport.
I want to say, God, what was it? It was like 2000. I think it was the Prague Grand Prix, but I want to say it was like 2000, 2001 when he beat Hoist, when it was a corner stoppage, when he beat Hoist Gracie. My whole world went upside down. It's like, because you couldn't imagine Hoist Gracie losing, and screw the Matt Hughes thing later on, but to see Hoist Gracie lose like that, have the corner stop.
Yeah.
That's when I first really started following Sakuraba and realized I was missing a lot.
Yeah, and Sakuraba, I mean, he had legendary matches with their whole family. Like submitted another one with the Kimura, another one of the Gracies. And this is when the Gracies were the founders of the sport.
Right.
And it was like nobody could beat the Gracies, or like it was like, they had such an edge on people. And,
sure.
He was a submission grappler, and he'd do all sorts of fun stuff. One of the funnest matches I watched him was, I think, when he fought Gracie, they made special rules. So it was no time limit. This is what you're talking about. It was no time limit, and he was allowed to wear the gi.
Right.
And so they made the rules. So they had already put time limits in, and you couldn't wear the gi anymore. And they made it special rule for this match. And so Sakuraba is going forever this match, and he's got Gracie in the corner, and starts undressing him. He starts taking off his gi top, and then starts taking off his gi pants. and Helio Gracie, the father Gracie,
right,
is sitting on the side, and he's trying not to laugh. He's like they keep zooming at him, and he's like trying to hold in a smile as Sakuraga's undressing his son.
Right,
in
right,
the ring
right in front of him.
Millions of people.
I just looked it up. 15-minute rounds, and that stoppage came after round 6.
Oh, is that what it
That's
was? Yeah.
Insane. That's insane,
That is
dude.
90 minutes.
That's insane.
That is banana sandwich.
When you think about a UFC championship fight is 25 minutes, 5 rounds, 5 minutes, and you're going for 15. Just the cardio alone. Forget the technique.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Sakuraga's no joke. It's gonna be an honor to compete, and I'm gonna try to get him. You know.
So if you do get him, that's what I was going to ask. So excuse me, when you submit him.
That's right.
Well, what if you're like tired? Can you like tag team out, or do you have to stay in?
So there's some more rules. So first off, there's no heel hooks, which is I think they're trying to avoid injury. A heel hook is where you take the heel over and it kind of jacks up the knee.
Sure.
And guys, these high level guys, like it's hard to make these guys tap. They're not like easy. At
right.
tapping,
Right.
So they'll sit there and on the brink of injuring themselves to not tap. So they eliminated heel hooks. That's one thing. And then if there's 44 pounds difference, so like Josh Barnett and myself go to compete. He's 255 pounds. I'm 155 pounds,
Yeah.
or I will be on the day. That'll be a 4-minute match.
Okay.
And so I can eliminate him by not getting submit. If I submit him, I win. If I don't get submitted, we're both eliminated. So if you don't get submitted, then you're both eliminated, and the next 2 guys from the team come in.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's really cool. I stayed up late last night and watched Quintet 2 again, and it's like the Planet 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, is that Eddie Bravo's?
Eddie Bravo.
Yeah.
Their team won it, and they had an oddball looking crew. Like these breakdancing brothers that have big gray beards and like the redhead guy that looks like kind of goofy looking dude, and they actually won the whole tournament. Yeah.
What's his thing? Is that the butterfly guard? What's his? Eddie did something with
the rubber guard.
Rubber guard. Sorry. Yeah.
Rubber guard. He's like super flexible. He like pulls the leg over the shoulder, under the neck, and like uses legs like rubber bands.
Claim to fame with Eddie Bravo. At one of your fights, we had a suite with KHTK, and Eddie and I are buddies, and he came up to hang out in the suite, and my wife, I wasn't there, and he knocked on the door, and my wife opens up, didn't know who he was, wouldn't let him in. Melissa wouldn't let Eddie Bravo into our suite, because thank God I got there at the last minute, but she straight clowned Eddie Bravo and said, you can't come in.
Funny.
And then later on, I was like, Eddie Bravo probably could have, in between thinking of conspiracy theories and doing stuff with Joe Rogan, would have probably tapped us all out.
That guy's got some theories, all right, Eddie.
I love Eddie.
Does he think the Earth is flat
Yes,
still?
dude, and that chemtrails are... We shouldn't even say it, because now your Twitter...
I was going to say, now you went and did it.
His Twitter followers are now going to be like, bro, chemtrails are real, man.
Wait, what is it?
Like the little white things that go behind airplanes, like the smoke. There are people that think that that's like chemtrails, and it's like all drugging us into like being submissive.
It's what kind of trails?
They call them like chemical chemtrails.
Oh my gosh.
I'll
Stay woke.
He thinks that?
Bro, he and Rogan get high and say some weird stuff, dude.
Yeah,
they get high on the chemtrails.
Yeah. All right. Urijah Faber will be with us at Sports Fest this Saturday. We'll get you all the time, all the details, and all that. You can read about it on all our Twitters later today. So, for Urijah Faber, the California Kid, which is our opening music each and every day, by the way. I know that's a little weird, but we start out with California Love, just so you know.
Really?
We come on.
Just for you, man.
We represent.
Had a baby.
For Urijah Faber, Kyle Madson, Matt Barrows, and all of you. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Jim Rome is next, right here on Sports 1140 KHTK. Bye-bye now.
Raider Nation, join my partner Lincoln.